And welcome back live at the Carrabba's. It's the exclusive Q&A here on QSportsTalk.com. Those who are getting their notifications that we are streaming, how you doing? You can go into the stream chat and start asking away and saying hi to the coach and breaking down some of the recent games. Looking forward to Saturday. And Coach, we didn't have a chance to chat last week, obviously, the trip out west, which is still kind of weird to say. A conference game, flying to California and watching 11 o'clock games. But all in all, split with the two games out there. But the trip, how the guys handle it and the travel, and it's just a little bit different for them.
You know, I thought the guys enjoyed it, being away, being in California. Obviously, it wasn't that sunny, but but I thought, you know, I think teams always bond a little bit better when they go on the road, and you know, this trip was a week trip, so I thought the guys really, you know, we got a chance to kind of, you know, do some things outside of basketball just to kind of, you know, connect and get some downtime, and when I thought they responded well to that. To the trip.
Well, questions already rolling in here again at the QSportsTalk.com in the stream chat. First question, one of the first couple of questions, we'll get to as many as we can here, but what positions, Coach, are you concentrating on with respect to the portal, or do you know that yet?
Yeah, you know, you're going to have to bring in, I think, you talk about, you break down your roster and you see what you're going to have, but, the one positions for sure is, we're going to have to go get a center. Eddie is, his eligibility is exhausted, and Naheem's is exhausted, I believe. So you got to go get a center there, and then after that, you don't know what your roster is going to kind of look like. So you're probably bringing in some more perimeter guys, a guard, point guard, or maybe depending on what your roster looks like, you just don't know. But I know the one spot for sure is a center.
And when it comes to the portal and when the guys decide to go in, when do you find out? I mean, does everybody find out at the same time? Is it?
You can have a conversation, but it's never official until they actually put their name in the portal. It's always a lot of rumblings. There's always a lot of speculation and things like that. You never really know. And the only time you know for sure is if your name doesn't go into the portal and the portal closes.
Oh, okay. Then that's how you find out. Then.
Yeah. No, I mean, and to be honest with you, once someone says they're staying, and once the portal closes, then you're pretty set.
Then they're there.
Yeah.
And they're going to be there. Question here from the chat for you, Coach. Fans need some optimism, and you said changes in the post-game press conference last night. Changes that you're looking to have and need to occur. What specifically were you talking about? Anything?
Yeah, I think, obviously it's going to be, roster construction and, it changes in that. And obviously we have a very, very talented, top 10 talented freshman class coming in. All guys that are, really, really high level players. And then, with the portal, they're going to be make some changes. And then again, I think everyone, even for me, the growth part of it, of learning and getting better. I think each year you get better as a coach, as a player, and obviously in this new era, roster construction and obviously the adaptability, having 2 years under my belt, I'm very excited, moving forward with the program. I know we're, getting it going back in the right direction as far as the talent acquisition, and then what we've added in Alex Klein and being able to go to the portal and really with the with our administration really going to be able to support us and step up moving forward. That's going to be huge and key. That's why I'm excited about it, and I think everyone should be excited about it. Again, this change, it happens, and again, no one knew how fast this happened. I think this year, everyone has kind of seen how important this landscape is, the NIL landscape is, and I think it's real now. It's real now. Again, last year, it was there, and we actually, had a really good season as for a first-year coach. Me as first-year coach, we were close to having postseason play. We probably would have had postseason play. I don't know if it would have been the NCAA. And we decided to kind of move forward with that and kind of build on this year. And obviously this year has not turned out the way we
Sure.
wanted it to be. But we got 8 games, and I think these guys, are still engaged, and I'm still engaged, and we still gonna keep fighting, and then we're gonna finish the season off strong. That's the goal. That's the rotation, to finish the season out strong, and go to the third part of the season, which is the postseason, and see what we can do.
And well, last night, I mean, as far as the energy of the guys, the way the game started last night, the energy, especially on defense, was there. I mean, they were in and with you, and
we had a good start to the game. I think 13, 14 minutes. Then I think the last 4 or 5 minutes, obviously we went into halftime, down 11, I believe, 11 or 13, I'm not sure. And, I thought we could have went in, a little bit closer. And, so again, it's not what do you call it, a consolation or anything like that. But, we had our moments, and we've kind of had that all year. But we've just been able to string it together for 40 minutes, especially in certain games. But this group, we talk about the now. We can't live in the past. We got to live in the now and get prepared for what's coming up.
From the stream chat here, again, if you're watching right now, a lot of people are joining us at the QSportsTalk.com. If you have a question for Red, you can put it in there right now. There we go.
I'm back.
A comment on the turnout last night, Coach, specifically the students for last night's game.
I thought the students were amazing. It was big time. I don't know.
They were early, too.
Yeah, they were early. It was amazing. It was big time. The one thing I can't say it enough and thank enough is how supportive our community is, how important that is to our program, and how thankful we are. And obviously our students coming out, that was big time.
This question, as far as going into next year, and again, I heard you and Matt talking last hour. You still don't know for Donnie, obviously for maybe tomorrow or at some point soon. But as far as if he does come back next year, would he play on the court at the same time as Sadiq White?
Absolutely. I think, when you start talking about, the possibilities, I think the one thing about this freshman group class that's coming in, very versatile group, all, any rangey from 6'5" to 6'7", 6'8", all, have multiple things that they can do, play multiple positions. And, it's very similar to, the makeup of, how Duke is this year, long, rangy, athletic team, and that's where, we're moving towards.
And the Duke team last night, obviously, and Cooper Flag gets all the headlines, as he should. He's going to be a great NBA player. But the supporting cast, everybody around him, helps make him that good, because you can't just concentrate on one guy.
No, he's surrounded. They did a good job of surrounding him with shooting and shot blocking and guys that can pass and make shots. So it really makes it hard for you to really kind of load up on him, because the supporting cast is really good.
Question again, looking into next year, about the point guard position for next year.
Yeah, I think that's something that we will be looking at. As you move into the portal, being able to have a point guard to pair him up with the rest of the talent that we have. But again, we'll look at all positions. You never know what your roster's going to look like, when it comes to portal time.
And where's that? Because it changes like every day. And I know we talked about this a couple of weeks ago, Coach. Just the landscape of college sports and college basketball. It's just changing like every time you open up your computer and turn on your phone. There's some new. Where is it? Like, what's the next level of what's going on right now?
It seems like, obviously, the NIL space is probably the biggest thing, and then on top of that, the freedom, the movement of freedom. I think, if I had to guess, they would have to somehow, the next movement may come into shorter commitments to universities, not 4-year commitments, but maybe 2-year commitments, something like that, to try to get some type of stability.
This one here, do you expect any freshmen to be ready to start right away next year?
You never know.
Hard to tell.
You never know. But the one thing I am is communicating with, is where I want them to be and where they need to be, and the things that are really important. So when they do hit campus, we can hit the ground running, and ready to go.
Last hour, I heard you and Matt talking about some of the coaches that you learn from and admire and have contact with and get some direction from. The question is, who do you think is the best X's and O coach in college basketball today?
It's a lot of really good coaches. Man, it's a ton of them. It's creative ones and pretty ones.
Too many.
It's too many. And typically, I think every coach, no matter what, is the X and O's. It really comes down to getting your guys to play, to win the game. And be consistent and do that stuff consistently. Again, it's a lot of really good coaches out there. It's just so many the X and O's. Then you got whatever you're, it's kind of whatever you kind of look into. Again, every X and O coach, believe it or not, is a very, very good defensive coach. That's why they're a good X and O coach, because you can have a lot of good offense, but if you're not stopping people and you're not getting the results, then it doesn't matter how pretty your offense is.
When you're game planning for a game like last night against Duke, and obviously you're trying to replicate in practice. Like who had the role of like Cooper Flagg in trying to replicate him when you're trying to play against him?
Yeah, we only could replicate one person, and that was Malawach, and that was Naheem. That was the closest that we could come to replicating anybody on their team. I think we had, I believe we had Chaz. I think Chazzy was Cooper.
Did Chaz get a kick out of that? Well,
he loved it. He loved to have the green light.
How does that work? I mean, when you're next step, for example, Boston College, and you already played him this year, obviously, but when you're breaking that down in the scout team that you play against, you just already know who you want to. Okay, you're going to play Donald. You're going to play whoever.
Yeah, we try to match them up to their abilities and size and stuff like that, but it doesn't always work out. Typically, those guys are a lot bigger, stronger, but we try to. But the guys, we do a lot of visual. We do a lot of film, so they understand. They get a really good idea of the player that they may be defending and the assignment.
I heard a little bit of the conversation that last hour with you and Matt with regards to Malik and having him back in the dome. But that's going on almost every night of the week in college basketball with guys who are what you named the school. There's a chance that wherever they're playing, there's a guy that probably was playing for him. Yeah. So it was probably a novelty the first couple of times that happened, but it probably happens with a little more frequency now. It's not as a big a shock or big a surprise.
No, it's not. A lot of movement. A lot of player movement, player empowerment. So you'll have a lot of those, and what you're going to start having too is people returning back to.
Oh, back to the transferred out and coming back in again?
Yeah, you'll start to see that too. I'm sure they have a couple of cases of that too as well.
I'm trying to think top of my head if I'm can think of one, but if you're a freshman and you go up somewhere for a year or two, then you got eligibility, and then whatever for the situation
might, as long as you left on good terms, and or it could be, a different coach. You never know, but I'm sure it's going to be some stories like that as well.
And for last night, like after the game or before, did Malik come over and say hi to you or the guys, like in any of the warm-ups? Because sometimes I'll see a little bit of chatter there with some of the guys that know each other.
Yeah, I said, I greeted Malik, after the game, congratulated him and wished him luck the rest of the season. And that was as far as it would be. But I know Chris and Naheem, but I know Chris really, I know he keeps in contact with him still. They're a very close group. They came in together.
An example in the stream chat on the football side, Deuce Chestnut.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go. Came back.
Yes,
so there you go.
There you go. Yeah.
Kind of a back and forth. know this weekend for the BC game, and I heard a little bit of it in the last hour about the 1975 team, and I remember being, growing up around here and a teenager and watching that with so much interest, and because we were like driving to Florida for vacation, like Easter vacation, but it was on the and back then 1975 it was hard to find things on the radio, up and down the coast to try to find scores or whatever. There's no play-by-play because we were in the car driving, through the Carolinas or whatever, but stopping at a hotel and turning the TV on, trying to get the results. But what an exciting time, and just a great bunch of guys. And I liked the nicknames. I mean, Fat Ernie Siebert. I mean, come on.
That's classic right there.
That's just I don't even know if you could do that anymore.
Hey, Fat Ernie.
Hey, Fat Ernie. But it'll be cool seeing all those guys back in, and then and you do have contact with a couple of those guys too?
Yeah, Jim Lee. I keep. He's always been good. He comes to games. He'll stop by practice. I'll see him in the summertime around town in the community. I'm excited to meet some other guys that I have not met yet, and to be able to spend some time with them and listen to their stories and their insight. It's always a blast.
I want to say I remember talking to, I think it was Jimmy Lee. Wait, would he have been, or would we have played Massachusetts at about the time that Dr. J was playing for UMass? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
In the mid-'70s?
That I'm not sure.
Is that because I want to say it was Jimmy Lee. It was at the time it was a guy who was working at a bar, and he had played for Syracuse, and he said he was playing on the team, and he held Dr. J to 38 points that night.
Oh, only 38?
He was proud of that.
Yeah.
He only got 38 that night.
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah.
Let me see a couple of other questions here. Coach, how does the staff assess the talent in the portal, and is it a year-round job?
It is a year-round job. You're evaluating people that you don't know if they're coming out or not. And I think the biggest thing is you evaluate the talent. Obviously, it's a lot of film and whatever, but I think sometimes you can't make make an evaluation on adjustment, depending on what level they're coming from, depending on, the system. You try to dot your I's and cross your T's and everything that you get. But you just never know sometimes, it's still a kind of a risk and gamble of how that's going to kind of work out in gel.
Question from the stream chat. Mello says he'll be more involved with the program next year. To what degree? And would he be involved in any part of the NIL efforts?
No, he'll be at the games. He'll be at the games for sure.
Yes, Paulie.
I just looked it up. 1971.
Would have been
Syracuse versus UMass. Dr. J, tell me if this is a good game. 36 points, 32 rebounds against Syracuse. 86-71 UMass.
Oh, okay. That's the doctor.
That's the doctor.
30, how many rebounds? 32?
32. Jeez. 36 and 32.
Wow.
It's not a bad
Sheesh.
Not a bad scoring line. But this one here, Dick Vitale makes his TV return on Saturday. Coach, do you have any memories, favorite moments of Dickie V?
Growing up, when he was I think that was kind of his ascension. It was his prime.
Oh,
his
sure.
Prime,
yeah.
Dickie V. Early '90s. I just, you just wanted him to call your game. You just want him to call your game and say your name. And I remember, I forgot what game it was. I kind of got a transition and I did a little fake behind the back pass, and I still remember it. He said, "Oh, he put a little mustard on that baby." But no, he was a guy that that everybody wanted to call his games for him and stuff like that. I've had a chance to meet him a couple of times, and the way he is on air is his energy and his enthusiasm and passion is the way he is in real life too.
And on the football side, there were guys who, if Keith Jackson was doing their football game, if you had Keith Jackson say your name, that was like that was a thing. It's like, Keith Jackson said my name on the television.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. Somebody wants to know what's your Tully's order when you go?
Tully's order tenders.
You can't go wrong.
Can't go wrong with the tenders, man. Any kind, Asian.
The crispy buffalo.
Crispy buffalo, yeah. Oh yeah.
This one here. Let me see here. People just enjoying the chatter here tonight, Coach. I'm just reading, kind of scanning through some of the comments here. On to the Super Bowl. I know you picked the Chiefs. I know that the last hour you kind of whispered it a little bit, but that's your team. I mean, that's
not my team.
Who do you think is going to win it?
I kind of, that three-peat thing and all that stuff. I kind of, excellence. Winning is hard, so and just to be able to see see a team kind of go for that feat, that's interesting to me.
There always a bunch of. Obviously, gambling is like easy to do. You can just pick up your phone and make a bet, and now all the prop bets, the side bets that come out that are a part of it. There's a couple here that I thought were a little bit unique. You can, on one site, bet on whether or not a quarterback is going to make a reception.
Really?
Yeah.
It's again, I'm not too familiar with all the bet stuff.
I'm not like all I know it's a low percentage chance, but I think the Eagles have done that. Is it the Philly special?
Somebody threw the
So it's precedent for it.
Yeah,
it's a low percentage.
Yeah,
but you can make a wager on that.
You probably could make a nice little chunk of cheese, right?
Yeah.
I still call money cheese.
You can make a bet as to whether either team will kick a walk-off field goal to win the game.
They said, man, they got some interesting lines, some props. What is that? Props that they call?
That's one of the side bets. The regular ones, like you can bet like who you think is going to score the first touchdown, or obviously the spread on the game. These are some of the more unique ones that you can really dig into. This one is kind of an odd one. It combines two sports events coming up here. You can bet on a Chiefs win and pair that with Sam Burns winning the Waste Management Phoenix Open golf tournament.
Really?
Not including Scotty Scheffler. so this guy could come in second, and if Scheffler were to win, and the Chiefs won, you'd still win that combo bet.
Man, they get creative.
Yeah, they do get a little.
They get creative with this one, man.
And then the other things too, I could see in the stream chat, you can bet on the color of the Gatorade and how long the national anthem is going to be, and
wow.
Yeah.
I thought the national anthem had like a time, like they had to say it in a time, right?
I think they do, and I would never, to me, because you can control that.
Right.
Like if I'm singing the national anthem and I find out that you can bet, I will bet like every dime I have and make sure it's over. Or under. Or if I'm the equipment manager and I'm controlling the Gatorade, what's the bet? Okay, I can make sure that happens. Are you excited about the Super Bowl and the halftime show, Coach?
There's been a lot of controversy about that halftime show. So, I'll
for
look
Kendrick
forward
Lamar.
to it. Yeah.
What's the controversy part of it?
Well, they wanted it. Now, let me make sure I'm right. Is it in New Orleans?
Yes.
So I know it was a big thing that they didn't have Lil Wayne.
Oh,
there was a lot of controversy. Heard my kids talking about it, man.
Well, on to the game itself on Saturday. Coach BC played him earlier, won at BC, and it was again the final score made it look like it was, I would say, easier than it was, but it wasn't. It was a great outcome, obviously, but it was a battle, and you came out on top.
It was a battle all the way down to the end, and JJ kind of took us home, and Cal Cuff actually made some big shots. He had a big three in the corner, and then out of bounds play that we run, and again, all of Earl Grant's teams, man, they win and they compete. I mean, they play hard, and I expect the same thing on Saturday.
And also, I guess this is part of the halftime controversy. His song is a song that's a Drake diss track. Worried about potential defamation lawsuits somewhere in there.
Oh, man. Yeah. Yeah, man.
Okay.
Yeah. I haven't followed it that much, but I know it's a lot. I knew it was some controversy.
Yeah. Would it kill him to have Foghat play? Let's just make it nice and easy. All right, Coach, we will see you back here again next Thursday night at Carrabba's Go Orange. Game on Saturday, and then we'll talk to you on the radio on Tuesday. And we'll see you next week.
Thank you. See you.
All right, see you, everybody.